Hey everybody, what's going on? It is James here with Crypto Common Sense, and I have a Bitcoin / cryptocurrency market update video for March the 2nd. Before I jump into the content for the video, please do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Of course, you can also check the description for a link to Patreon where you get more updated videos. More updates, more videos. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, let's talk about Bitcoin. So first things first, I'm going to pull up a monthly chart because I did two videos in February. The first one I did on February 1st and posted it on February 2nd. And the other video I did last week. So let's find the monthly chart and we'll start there and we'll work our way down, which by the way is how professional traders go about things, is they normally look at the top first and they take what's called a top-down approach. So let's do that. First things first, I had said on February 2nd, very unusual to get more than 3 red candles on Bitcoin. Bear market, bull market, doesn't really matter. You don't normally get more than 3 red candles, so I expected February to be a green month. It was a green month. If you got long on the 1st of February, you could have potentially ridden that up for over 19%. So that was great. So now here's the opposite side of the coin. In bear markets, if this is a bear market, whether you believe it's a bear market, I'll leave that up to you. I will just remind you that bear markets tend to be negative investor sentiment and also drops of more than 20%. Right now, Bitcoin has fallen over 52% and is currently down about 36%. So it does meet some of the qualifications for a bear market. However, it is also still ranging, in my opinion, so there is reason to be cautious. This is still an up channel, right? It's still a parallel channel that's facing up or an uptrend in some ways, so something to be in mind of. But if this is indeed a bear market, we just put in 3 red candles, we put in 1 green candle. In bear markets, Bitcoin rarely prints consecutive green monthly candles. In fact, if you go back to the last bear market in 2019, right, which was a little mini bear market, it just had 2 spots where it put in 1 green candle and then finally capitulated down to about $3,800. In the longer bear market, the crypto winter of 2018, we can see that it had 1 candle red, 1 candle red, 1 candle red capitulation, right, and then started this new run up. If we go back to previous market cycles, we have to go over to a BLX chart to do that. Let's go back before 2018. If we look at the bear market that started in 2013, same thing, red, 1 green. Here's 1 green with a little baby green. And the hiccups, I apologize. Again, 1 green, 1 green, 2 greens right in the ranging bottom here, and then the new market. So not impossible to get 2 greens. I mean, it's not impossible to get 50 greens. We don't know. But historically speaking, it's rare to get more than 1 green. And when we have, it's been a very small, almost spinning top type of candle. Okay. So if we go back to 2011, it was even worse. There were no greens. It just went straight down from $32 down to about $2. Okay. So that's the monthly chart. That's what I see on that. Of course, we still have some really important levels to watch. Again, as I mentioned earlier in the video, this is still technically, a channel. It's a valid channel until broken. So right now, this could very well go much higher. Could also fall down and break out of the bottom of the channel. If it did break out of the bottom of the channel, I would view that as, overly bearish, and I would be very, very skeptical that Bitcoin was not going to go back down and revisit, those previous levels I've talked about in previous videos down around 10, 12K. So that's the monthly chart. Weekly chart. Okay, what did we talk about on the weekly chart in previous videos? We talked about Bitcoin wanting to, the last video I did, I believe it was on February 25th. I mentioned, in fact, I know I mentioned, that I could foresee this putting in a W here and trying to go up and test that 19-week moving average. And what I had hypothesized in that video is we would get up to around that $45,000 to $46,000 level, and then it very well end up being a fake out and then head back down. So potentially what's happening, again, here's the video from the 25th. You can see the screenshot there. The video is still available on YouTube if you want to go watch it, and we are putting in that W. So very interesting stuff. Our 19-week moving average has continued curling down. It's now down around 48.1K. All right. So that's kind of what the weekly is looking like right now. Wow, a lot of my stuff has disappeared on my RSI. Now that's weird. My box has disappeared, and I know I didn't delete it. So interesting. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's move to the 3-day chart. So here's 3-day chart again, same W, same neckline, up around $46,000 or so. And by the way, for people who, a lot of people doubt technical analysis, and a lot of people say, oh, you just can't possibly make that work. A friend of mine who recently started trading, he's still learning. He talked to another guy who trades futures and trades off of only volume profile, and he told him there's just no way you can make regular technical analysis works. That's bull, right? That's bull. Technical analysis definitely works. Obviously, you can see that I predicted this W a few days ago, but not just that. Over on Patreon, again, if you're not a member of Patreon, you can join down in the description. But over on Patreon, I had posted up this chart for Bitcoin, because this move from the outside, I was like, oh, look, Bitcoin went up. A friend of mine hit me up today and said, oh, it looks like Bitcoin went up because of the war. Was it because of the war, though? I mean, really? I don't think so. Right? I think it was just oversold and needed a relief bounce. I had posted this on Patreon. You can see here on 9:51 a.m. on February 28th. At the time, price was around 38 or 40,000. Maybe I can't tell from the screenshot. Maybe 40,000. Yeah, like maybe 40,800. It was on this green candle here. And I said, look, here's an inverse head and shoulders. If it confirms, price target 45,000. You see it there and there. It's not rocket science, right? It's nothing special about me. I just learned technical analysis like anybody can do. You can go out there and learn technical analysis in a few weeks, right? I suggest everybody does, whether from me or somebody else. It doesn't matter. Just learn it. It's there. Even if you're a guy or a girl that loves fundamental analysis, great. Use both, right? This gives you a huge edge over the market, okay? Not 100%, nothing is, but you want that edge, okay? Imagine you could go into a casino and you were the one with the edge instead of the house. You'd love it. You'd never leave. So that's kind of a little side note about that. Again, that 3-day chart. I just want to see what happens with this, potential W, this potential double bottom. Very well could be that, my original hypothesis comes true and then ends up being a fake out, and then heads on back down, right, trapping people. Or it might develop into some type of range where it just kind of ranges sideways for a bit and then makes a decision. So a couple things to watch there. As far as the RSI goes, we did come up, didn't quite get to the top of this bear market box, but fairly close. So that's something I will keep an eye on. Also going to keep an eye on this downward sloping trend line here. We can obviously see this trend line was extremely accurate about calling the top. We had a very close, touch through this area right around the top. So I'll be interested to see what happens if we retest that. So if we go over to a daily chart, we can take a look at Bitcoin on the CME here. We can see that we do have this gap here. We can see that, again, we're getting, this trend line is being respected in RSI. We can see that we have, high selling volume here, almost no bull buying volume. It's like the bulls were just nowhere to be found on this little green candle. But so far, the bears are also nowhere to be found on this candle here. This is a 4-hour chart. Let's switch over to a daily chart here. And what we'll see is this was actually a bearish retest of the 200-day moving average after this death cross. Now, I find this death cross hilarious because, again, these are supposed to be super bearish in nature, and what it actually marked was almost the perfect bottom back here in February before this big bounce. So I really don't care about the crosses. I do care about the moving averages themselves because a lot of traders respect them and will trade them. And if they see that as a bearish retest, a lot of them will short it because that's what they've been taught to do. Okay, so interesting spot on the CME there. We do have this gap down. This is right around 42,000 or so. And so, I think at the very least, we may be able to look for a move back down this 42K zone and then kind of see what happens from there, okay? Something like that. Or something, where it just breaks right through. If we go to a daily chart, not going to be a whole lot of information here that we haven't already seen on the bigger time frames. Again, same upward channel, the same potential double bottom. And of course, the odd thing is this line that we're rejecting at right now, this orange line is actually the neckline of that W from back in September. It just continues to be that line in the sand that's being very well respected. I've not taken a look, but I'm curious now that I'm doing this video to look at the volume profile and see where that's at. So our point of control on the volume profile, right around 47K or so. Again, that's going to be up around that 19-week moving average. So I'm still not ruling that move out. All right. I'm really kind of frustrated that somehow my weekly chart has been deleted. All of my drawings on here have been deleted because it would have been nice to still have all of the Wyckoff stuff on there that I've been posting about, because I still think we're following Wyckoff. Let me find the post on Facebook. That's the stock market, which is also following Wyckoff, it seems to be. This was the post right here. So this is almost, 2-3 weeks old now, but basically what I thought was we would come back down, which we did. We actually went a little lower than what I thought. I thought maybe 38, 40K, got down to about 34K or so. And then if we're following Wyckoff, it still looks to me like we got to test the last point of supply, which I had drawn originally around 50 to 52K because that's up where the 19-week moving average was at, but of course now it's lower, so maybe we don't get quite that high, right? Maybe we just kind of come back up to this 48K zone, but whatever. I think that if we're following this strictly, that move up hasn't really happened yet, so we'll kind of see where Bitcoin goes. But eventually I do feel like this is going to break down and of course head much lower, so that opinion hasn't changed. With all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As far as a for sure direction, if I had to lean one way or the other on Bitcoin, I'm pretty neutral right now. I am pretty neutral. I think that we have to wait and see how this double bottom plays out. Is this a real double bottom? Are we going to maybe do something like this where we hit this 19? Well, that's the 50 moving average, but pretty close to the same area as the 19. Are we going to pop out of this, retest it, and then have a strong move up? Maybe even get to a 61.8, which would be friggin' awesome, right? Something like this area up here around 55K. Are we going to do that? Or is this going to be a bull trap where people start, jumping into the market either too early in these areas, or maybe it's a false breakout and bulls get trapped, and then we see something like this? I don't know, right? I'm just going to wait for the market to kind of give me a direction. And of course, there's always trades in the smaller time frame. You don't need to wait for that. But if you're talking from an investment standpoint where you're trying to decide whether or not to hold your investments, I think right now it's very, very difficult to say which way this thing is going. Long term, of course, I lean toward those 10 to 12K levels. But short term, 45K, where we're at now, maybe that's the local top. Maybe it pops out to that 19-week around 48K. Maybe it pops all the way up to 55K to the 61.8. I don't know. I just don't know. And so when I don't know, I just stick to smaller time frames, or I trade other assets. Of course, there's so much stuff you can trade nowadays. There's stocks, there's Forex, there's futures, there's crypto. There's just so much. So no real reason to force a trade until it presents itself. But that's me. I'm sitting on my hands. I'll wait for this to play out. And when it gives me a good indication, then I'll look to, play the market in that particular direction. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have not yet done it, give it a thumbs up now. These take a lot of work to do, a lot of work to edit, and I really appreciate when people can help support the channel by giving those likes. Also, don't forget, comments help a lot. That would help to grow the channel. The bigger the channel gets, the more videos I'll be happy to do. Not real motivating with 250 views on each video to do much of these, but if that grows, maybe that will change. And last but not least, remember you can join Patreon in the description for just $17 a month, and that will give you access to more frequent updates and trade tutorials. All right, this is James with Crypto Common Sense, reminding you that I am some guy sitting in a spare bedroom, which of course means nothing in the video is financial advice, nothing in the video is trade advice. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor for making any type of investment in cryptocurrency, the stock market, precious metals, or Forex. This is James with Crypto Common Sense, reminding you to please trade safe.